When I got back home and I was just devastated, I laid down at around 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, right before, really late, right before almost dawn. I had an visitation of an angel, and he came to the foot of my bed. And this thing was not, because I didn't know anything about angels, I going to Catholic school and stuff. I thought like angels were these little fat little kids with wings and stuff, But this visitation that I had was something thin and tall, almost as high as the ceiling. I mean, it was like huge. And I remember when I saw him, I could not move. I could see myself in bed. I could see my body tucked in. I could see the feet, but I was frozen, completely frozen. And then I just looked and I was like doubting, I go, is this Nick? And then he whipped out and they had these large wings, and then he went 3 times and went like this, and I could feel the air in my face. And he didn't speak with me, and I couldn't see the face. The face was a little blurred out. But all he kept on repeating over and over and over was, look through the window, look through the window. And it was so powerful that I finally snapped out of it, and I actually got up and I went through the window, physically looked through the window. But I was so out of it. I was like so in a daze. I looked through the window for my bedroom for like a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, and then boom, I passed out and I went back to bed. And immediately again, boom, look through the window, look through the window. And later, I try to figure out what it meant, but I think it really meant for me to start considering things in the other side of the veil, like the window, without crossing over. Because you could go nuts and get so deep into this that you kind of lose sense of reality. So he didn't say look out the window or look in the, go to the other side. It's like stay here, yet look through the window, that there's a higher reality. And that really was, it started opening up my mind for other possibilities, and it really kind of changed me.
That's amazing. What a powerful yet clearly potent experience that he had.
One thing I love about it is that he had a certain image. It's not that he wasn't aware of the idea of angels, but he had a certain image in his head. If this had just been something that was concocted out of his own subconscious, why would it look so different, than what he thought an angel would look like? It was very different, and so it did seem. And the fact that he was paralyzed, he couldn't move. He just has to take in this experience.
So as Swedenborgians, I think we can't help ourselves from thinking about, these specific details, what could they mean?
What are the correspondences? What's going on? Right.
So even though we can't know for sure more about what his experience meant, we did want to point out there's a couple of really potent images in there, and these would be the wings, and the window.
And that window, looking through the window.
And we just want to share a little bit about what Swedenborg says about the symbolism of those things. So this is from Secrets of Heaven 8764. The reason wings mean spiritual truth, so there you have your symbolism, is that birds in general symbolize matters of intellect and thoughts. Wings are spiritual truth then, because that is what gives us our ability to understand anything.
So the wings are what make the bird, in a sense. It's the spiritual truth that lifts up our minds and makes us able to understand things.
Right. Wings also mean powers lent to spiritual truth by the goodness associated with it. After all, wings on birds are like the hands or arms on people, and arms and hands symbolize powers.
And wings are powerful, aren't they? They're an extension of that power of spiritual truth when it's acting in the interest of goodness. So very interesting that, and it wasn't revealed at first, but then the angel sort of manifests these wings and is flapping them, and he can feel it.
And you just sense the power in those wings when he's talking about it. So the other symbol is the window, and Swedenborg writes that a window symbolizes an intellectual capacity. So it symbolizes inner sight.
Which is what he came to about it, right?
Yeah. Looking out through a window, then, means perceiving what is visible through the inner eye.
And amazing that Swedenborg what are the odds? The
Yeah.
Swedenborg actually discusses that precise phrase
Looking out
that the
through a
angel
window.
kept saying,
I know.
not from or not on the other side of
Yes.
something. It's just looking out through a window.
The inner self is what observes things in the outer self, so it sees the truth embedded in religious concepts.
And I'm inclined to think that in this case it was like, look into the spiritual world. Like in the physical world, this is a total random nihilistic tragedy. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about it?
Yeah.
But if you look at the spiritual, if you look out through that window and see what's behind it, you can see this in a better light.
Yeah, and that life without that perspective that includes the spiritual side and the resolution there, life becomes almost impossible to navigate.
Unbearable. Yeah, just unbearable.